So we continue with Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we at the very end on chapter of Iska, laws of Iska, right? How you can lend somebody with would look like an interest, but it's halachically permission, with halachic permission. Why? Because it is investment slash lending, but because of the technicality, so it is perfectly allowed, right? So it's very interesting. All right, so we continue with halacha number 11. So in chapter is 66. So 66, halacha 11, and it says, so let's read. Almost done with this chapter. So too with regard to Reuven, who owned money to Siman. Okay. And when the time of payment arrives, Reuven had no money, and they reach an agreement that Siman will defer collecting from him for some time. Okay. Here too, there is no remedy for Siman to receive compensation with the Iska document, since no money is being invested. Instead, Reuven should tell Siman, Reuven should sell Siman some of his merchandise in the manner mentioned above, and Siman will return the promissory note that was previously drawn against Reuven. Reuven will then give him a note for the merchandise that he purchased from him in this manner mentioned above. Okay, so there are a few examples, so we're going to see how it all works. Okay, so from the beginning, and with commentaries I try to explain. So too with regard to Reuven, who owned money to Siman. Okay, Reuven owns money to Siman. Okay. When the time comes of a payment arrived, Reuven had no money. Okay, so Reuven borrowed from Siman, and he has to pay, and he does not have any money. Okay, and they reach an agreement that Siman will defer the collection for him for some time. So let's say Reuven said, "I'm going to pay you in 3 months," and guess what? 3 months later, he has no money, so he said, "Give me another 6 months." Let's say, okay. Here too, there is no remedy for Siman meaning the lender, to receive compensation with the Iska document, since there is no money being invested. So when we were saying this Iska document, we said that it was invested, the money was invested, meaning that that you can get money from investment, right? So from investment profits every month. So in some sense, it looks like interest, right? So I mean something extra, but technically in business wise, it's not extra. It's a revenue, well, part of the revenue, whatever they agreed upon. Okay, that's good. So now Reuven says, I don't have any money, so whatever I owe you, I don't have it. He did not say that I invested in business. We need to wait until the next season, and the price is going to go up. He does not have the money. So to say that Siman can get something extra like profit, there is no profit. You understand? There is no profit because there is no investment. There is no money. Okay, so that's the situation. Okay, so as it says here, I mean, since no money is being invested. Okay, so far so good. Continue. Instead, Reuven, meaning the borrower, should sell Siman, the lender, some of his merchandise in the manner mentioned above. Okay, so what does it mean? Commentary. There is by the means of acquisition with a kerchief, right? So as explained in the previous sheet. So meaning nothing is moving from one domain to another. Like with a kerchief, so they transfer the merchandise. Okay, no, not transfer. Do transaction, sell. Okay, so basically, as we give example, maybe he has the merchandise, but in another town, another country. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, So he said, here I'm going to pay you the price, but if I cannot get this merchandise to you for whatever reason, look, I'm going to pay penalty. Okay, so I'm going to compensate you with a penalty. I want to sell to you so much. So right, actually there is a company, new company on internet, like a few years. They call Temu, I think Temu or something, like from China. So they prices are unbeatable. I mean, the quality is not the greatest. I mean, but some things you don't need the greatest quality, right? And they say we're going to ship to you like maybe in 2 weeks. So you're going to get it in 2 weeks, 10 days. Or if you're not going to get it in 10 days, let's say, we're going to give you like $5 credit. Psh, wow. That's amazing. So meaning that they say like in advance, we're going to penalize ourselves if we're not going to deliver on time. Other companies do not do that, but these people try to encourage people to buy from them, right? So the same is with this selling. So he's not going to deliver. I mean, technically the sale is valid. He said, I'm going to deliver to you. It's in another town, right? In my warehouse. I have to go there. I don't have time yet, but if I'm not going to deliver to you by next Thursday, let's say, I'm going to return you money and plus penalty, let's say 25%, let's say, right? So that's how legally he can pay extra. Okay, and Siman will return the promissory note. So Siman is a lender, right? He'll return promissory note that previously was drawn against Reuven. Okay, Reuven will then give a note for the merchandise, right, that he purchased from him, right, in the manner mentioned above. So let's see this example so that we're going to make it clear. Okay, so example, there is that note that states that Reuven is selling merchandise to Siman at a low price with the provision that if Reuven does not turn the merchandise over to Siman before a certain date, okay, as we explained, Reuven will pay him the higher price for it. Okay, so I mean exactly as we explained, but what one word I did not mention, I'm not sure if it makes any difference. Tell the truth. I mean, actually, it make some difference. So like this new company, they sell like similar products but cheaper, right? So I mean they trying to attract customers. Of course, there is like a disadvantage that you have to wait a few weeks or 10 days, then a few weeks, okay, but you get in lower price. Okay, so I mean that's good. So Reuven is saying, I'm going to sell you my merchandise at the low price, and if I don't deliver to you on such and such days, I'm going to pay a penalty. Why the penalty? That's brilliant. So why? Because you're planning to buy these products from me. I'm selling you below the market cost because I need money. Okay, my personal business. I need money, so I sell you below the market cost. So if at market price you would go and buy from somebody else, you understand? But the only reason you're dealing with me is because I'm selling you cheap. So now I'm going to compensate you, and I'm going to compensate you like at the market price. So you're not going to lose. Look, I'm going to compensate my market price, and so you can go and buy your merchandise from somewhere else. Okay. So let's see. For example, if Reuven owns Siman $1,000, Siman may purchase the merchandise at that price, with Reuven agreeing to pay him $1,100 if he does not deliver the merchandise on a certain date, right? So like a penalty. So, but I mean, it does not continue with a low price, but I think it's like sounds very realistic if you say that the low price. Okay, right. So okay. When the day that arrives and merchandise has not been delivered, Siman will now receive $1,100 for the merchandise. Meaning, here we go, and even though he cannot say Reuven cannot pay Siman from the profits of the investment, because as we said, there is no investment. He does not have money, but he has some merchandise. So he selling merchandise and said, if I don't deliver, I'm going to pay you with a penalty, and he pays penalty extra. So Shimon is not going to lose. Okay. So halacha number 12. So please let me know if any questions. I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, maybe it sounds a little complicated, but it's pretty straightforward, because we must compensate Shimon. So it's not, again, Reuven, it's not like he's a poor person. We're not talking about poor and we try to support him. No, he's a businessman. Maybe he's a poor businessman, but that's a different story. Okay. Continue. Halacha number 12. Regarding a Jew who gave his fellow an animal to raise, with agreement that they should afterwards divide the profit. The law governing this case is the same as he gave him money for an Iska venture. Okay. So let's see. There are two commentaries we're going to see. So I mean, it's not so simple, right? One Jew gives another Jew animal to raise. So that second Jew would need to invest, like in keeping the animal, like build the barn, or like expand the barn, buy food, right? So of course, all the byproducts, the way I understand, of the animal belongs to the second guy, right? So meaning what, if the milk, the wool, like all, like if it's a chicken, so it would be the eggs, belongs to him. Why? Because he has to he has to take care of for the animal. Everything costs money. Okay, and then the profit they're going to split. So and it's a good business for both of them, I think. Maybe even better for this guy, for investor. Okay, but let's see. One more time the whole sentence. Regarding the Jew who gave his animal to raise, with agreement that they should afterwards divide the profit. Commentary. The owner of the animal engaged in services of another person, such as a sheep herd or a farmer, to raise his animal, but rather than paying him by hourly or daily wage, they agreed to divide the amount that the animal appreciates during the time that the animal is under his care. So meaning they say they bought this tiny animal for this guy, the first one bought for whatever amount. So that's beginning amount, and how much the animal is going to appreciate when they're going to sell it. I'm not sure. Usually I think maybe a year or 2 years. It's no longer than that. Okay. I mean, it's up to them, but the law governing this case is the same as if he gave money for an Iska venture. Okay, so let's see. So how is it connected? So let's see. As with every Iska venture, half of the animal is considered to have been lent to the farmer, while the remaining half belongs to the owner and was entrusted to the farmer. Right, same with this loan, this Iska loan, right? Meaning half we give him as a loan, and half we give him as an investment for him to watch. And of course, very important details I have to remember. I have to remind us that we have to pay him money, right? To make him, we give him money, but we must make him paid watchman. Okay. As explained above, Seif 1, since the farmer is caring for the owner's portion only because he was lent the other half, it is prohibited, right? So meaning that if you just leave it like that, half and half, so half of the animal, I mean, that does not sound good, but half of the animal will lend him, and half of the animal is ours, right? And he's taken care of. So basically, he's taking care of our half just because we gave him to use his half. I mean, the second half. So that would be 100% interest, right? And it's forbidden, right? Unless owner compensate the farmer for his efforts, right? So meaning pay him salary, and as well as paying him half of the animal's feed. Right. Okay. No. It says yeah. It says clear, and plus paying half of the animal feed. Okay. Right. Or they can make some arrangements. So how much the animal eats, and you're going to subtract from the final amount. Okay. So we finish this topic. I don't know how long it took us. Quite some time. So let me see if any questions on this topic. Okay, I think no questions. All right, no problem. So we start new topic. It's Siman 67, and our topic is laws of vows and oaths. Okay, contains 11 Seifim. All right, so it's very interesting topic. The Torah states in BeEzrat 30 verse 3, if a man takes a vow to HaShem or swears an oath to establish prohibition upon himself, he shall not desecrate his words, etc. This Siman discusses the law of nedarim, vows, and shvuas, oaths, two classes of oral declaration, and their legal consequences. Okay, so before we continue, let's try to understand the difference. So as we understand that it's a big difference, right, between oath and a vow. Okay, so meaning we're going to explain one is on a person himself, and another one is on an object. So this object is forbidden to me, right? Or I'm prohibit myself from using this object. So it's two totally separate concepts. Okay, so let's see the verse again. If man takes a vow to Hashem, or swears an oath. So as we see, vow and oath is not exactly the same, right? Prohibition upon himself, right? Meaning prohibit to himself. He shall not desecrate his word. Okay. So this Siman will discuss nedarim. Neder is a vow. So when we say bli neder, right? Bli neder, I'm not promising. I'm not making a vow. And shvuas, oaths. So let's see. Come to number one. The English term vow and oath include any type of solemn promise or pledge, and do not accurately reflect the halakhic definition of nedarim and shvuas. I mean, oath and vow, like in English, in other language, I think it's almost the same. Well, what is the difference? I don't know, not such a big difference, right? But in Ivrit, it's a huge difference. As like halakhic, huge, right? And do not accurately reflect halakhic definition nedarim and shvuas. In this Siman, the term vow is to be taken as a halakhic neder, and the term oath is to be taken as halakhic shvua. See the next note. So meaning they connect again. Vow is a neder, and an oath is a shvua. Okay. So it says. So two classes of oral declaration and made their legal consequence. So all of these things, as we understand by now, made orally. So is it in front of the witnesses? And sometimes yes, and sometimes no. Right? We're going to see. Okay. So it says, although so meaning that if person thought like I promised to do this and that, so it's nothing. Unless, as we learned in our class of laws of tzedakah and mussar, it was about tzedakah. So if person is thought about tzedakah, there is I don't remember, is it majority, maybe not majority, but many poskim say that he must deliver on it, just because of he thought about tzedakah. All other things, no, he must say it out loud. So okay, continue. Although a discussion, all of the defining factors of the neder and shvua, all the discussion, all of the defining factors of neder and shvua, as well as an examination of the possible variation of the expression oath and vows are beyond the scope of his work. Yeah, it's see Yoredaya 204 and Shulchan Aruch from 204 to 236. That's so much information, right? The chief distinction between the two is that the neder creates prohibition upon object, while the shvua addresses the actions of a person. There is the one who takes the oath upon himself. The Gemara states Nedarim 2b, and neder makes an object forbidden to the person, while shvua forbids a person to use the object. Several halachic consequences result from this distinction. Most prominent is that the rule that the neder takes effect only upon physical matter that has substance. There is an object, whereas an oath takes effect even regarding matter lacking substance. For example, a terminology of a vow cannot be used to forbid a night sleep, right? Because it's not night sleep is it's not tangible upon oneself, since sleep is not an object. However, one can prohibit sleep to his eyes with a vow. Okay, so I forbid my eyes from sleeping. So that's, I mean, people don't use this language, but just to understand the point. Or use the terminology of oath, to forbid himself from sleep at night. For more details, see Yoredaya 2:13. Okay. Nevertheless, even such a vow would require annulment. Okay. More, I mean, since since I think there is like a difference of the opinion in among our paskim, so some say it's taking effect, right? So that's why we must annul all of these vows. However, a vow can generally not be taken to require a person to do something. It can also create a prohibition upon him. There is, however, another type of vow, a vow of consecration, which is exception to the rule. Hilchas Nedarim 1 and 2 and 2. Okay. Consecration. Okay, we're going to discuss. Okay. The vows address in Seifim 3 through 5 are related to, we're going to discuss this type of vows. So let's try to understand this. I mean, he put it in a note, but it's very, very important introduction to before we start delving into it. Okay, so we're going to go again, and we're going to try to explain. So it says again, although the discussion, I mean, the sentence does not make sense. All of the defining factors of neder and shvua, as well examination of possible variations of beyond the presence oath and vow, beyond the scope of this work. Okay, continue. I'm going to skip a little. Scope. Okay. Work. The chief distinction. That's what we must know. The chief distinction between the two is the neder, right, creates a prohibition upon the object. So this object is forbidden to me. Right, this object is forbidden to me, while shvua addresses the action of the person. Right, so I'm not allowed to use this object. So two separate approaches, as we explained before. There is if one takes an oath upon himself, right? The Gemara states, and neder makes an object forbidden to a person. So neder is connected to object, while shvua forbids a person to use an object. So right, that's the main point. So one is is on object, neder is on object, shvua is on a person. Okay. Several halakhic consequences result from this distinction. Most prominent is the rule that the neder takes effect only upon physical physical matter that has substance. So since it is an object, it has to be on something that is substance. Right, so as an example that we gave, sleep. So sleep does not have any substance. So how can, right? So we cannot make a neder that I'm not going to sleep. Okay. So there is the object. So the substance. There is an object. Whereas an oath takes effect even regarding the matter lacking substance. Okay, so meaning oath. So oath is shvua. I'm not sure they switch between between Hebrew and English. Okay, so in one case they say in Hebrew and then in English. So shvua is on a person. For example, a terminology of vow cannot be used. Vow, it's a nether. I'm not sure how to use it, English or Hebrew. They keep switching, but okay. The vow cannot be used to forbid night sleep. Okay, so nether or vow cannot forbid night sleep. Why? Because it is not physical. Upon oneself, since sleep is not an object. Okay. However, one can forbid his sleep to his eyes as a vow. So eyes, his eyes. So he would say, my eyes are forbidden from sleeping. So that's a valid vow. Or use the terminology of oath to forbid himself to sleep on night for a night, right? So right, okay, for a night. So oath is a shvua, right? So right, I'm forbidden to sleep at night. Okay, so that's no problem. Okay, so I skip a little. Moreover, a vow can generally not be taken when to require a person to do something. Moreover, vow can generally not be taken to require a person to do something. It can only create a prohibition upon himself. So vow meaning so he cannot say that I vow that I'm going to going to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. let's say, right? It is prohibited. Like a vow is shvua is as they say it is like a prohibition. So you can say I prohibit myself from sleeping past 5 a.m. in the morning. So meaning that you have to from the negative, the positive is implied. There is, however, another type of vow, a vow of consecration. So consecration, we're going to see maybe consecrate a woman, or like when we had the Beis Hamikdash animal or possessions, we consecrate to the temple. Okay, which are the exception to the rule. Okay, so continue. So now we start with the text itself. Let me see how long is the Siman. Okay, so we start the Siman. The Siman opens with the importance of avoiding taking oath and vows from Talmud Nedarim 22a, with explanation run from the same place. One should not be accustomed to take vows. Whoever takes a vow, it is as he builds a personal altar during the period when these altars are forbidden. Okay. And one who fulfills his vow, rather than seeking to have annulled, as if he offered sacrifice upon it, an act from which one is liable for the prohibition of slaughtering is slaughtering a consecrated animal outside of the temple. For it would have been better if he had sought annulment for his vow, so that they would permit him that which he forbade. So I mean that's don't go into the. So I mean the sages say don't do it. Why? Because in some instances where you would not be able to keep your word, your vow, so you would need to go and cancel it, right? That's and maybe before he decided to cancel it, he would violate his vow. That's the bigger issue. However, this appears only applies only to other vows that have only personal ramification, but vow a consecration are a mitzvah to fulfill, rather than to seek annulment of them, right? As the verse says in Tehillim 1:16-18. So meaning if it's difficult, so you still continue doing. My vows to Hashem I will fulfill. One should not seek annulment of these vows unless it is present situation to determine by halakhic authority. So we're going to do it again with the commentaries and try to explain. I'm going to add whatever I remember from different learnings. So basically, don't put yourself in that situation. So as I always we explained it several times at least. So when you start something new, you say, look, I that's amazing thing. I'm going to do it, but I'm telling myself now. So if I would not be able to do it, or I feel lazy, or I feel sleepy, this and that. So so it's not nether. So meaning I can stop at any time. Understand? So you'll be doing it for some time, and then guess what? Situations come, and you cannot do it, or it bothers you. This and that, it's very inconvenient for the whole family, and this and that, a million situations. So now, but because you've been doing it for so long, it's meaning 3 times, right? So you must continue doing it, and plus you said out loud. That's a big issue. Okay, so it's better not to take vows, but in some situation, as we're going to say, maybe in the commentary, he's like to strengthen himself. So I swear to myself that I have to do this, that, or not to do this or that. So that to strengthen person himself, because he did the vow. So now I cannot I cannot go against my vows. Okay, so continue. One should not be accustomed to taking vows. So don't do any swearing, don't do any promises. Okay. Right. Whoever takes a vow, it is as he built a personal altar during the period such as altars are forbidden. So as we know, in sometime during our history, the altars were forbidden, personal altars. So before the Mishkan was constructed, the personal altars were permitted. Then in the desert they were forbidden. Then I think when the Mishkan was a Gilgal, in a few places it was it was permitted, forbidden, permitted. So it's like a period of times. And then when the Beis Hamikdash was constructed, so it was forbidden permanently. So personal bamos were forbidden permanently. So of course, I mean, even you when these altars were allowed, you were allowed to bring them only personal offering, not communal, nothing. Don't go crazy. Only personal. I think only shalamim offering, peace offering. But other offering a guilt offering, if I remember correctly, I would have to go to the main altar and do it there. Not to give everything to Kohanim. They have to do the whole procedure. You cannot do it in your house. Okay. So again, one should not be accustomed to make any vows. Whoever takes a vow, it is as he builds the personal altar. So just my understanding, just because he built the personal altar, when this altar were forbidden, does not mean he did anything else wrong. I mean, he's put himself in a situation. So maybe he's going to do anything wrong, but now he just the altar is there. So until he puts he brings the sacrifice, then when he's guilty. Okay. This refers to any altar other than the one in the Mishkan, tabernacle, or the Beis Hamikdash, holy temple. Okay. So, and this is done when during the period then altars were forbidden. During the most of Israelites' history, with exception certain short periods, it was forbidden to offer sacrifice such altars. Okay. See Zavachim 115, 120. Okay. Continue. And so meaning don't do that. Okay. Don't build the altar, right? So the one who accustomed himself making these oaths, right? It's like he's building altar. So why is that? It's only a matter of time that he's going to fail, guaranteed. Okay, because we're all humans. Continue. And one who fulfills his vow rather than seeking to have it annulled, it is as he offers sacrifice upon it. Okay. Commentary. Under circumstances, a vow may be annulled. Okay, so we're going to see and he fulfilled. It's like he brought the sacrifice upon it. Okay, so let's see. And an act for which one is liable for the prohibition of slaughtering consecrated animal outside of the temple, right? So I guess they're going to see what exactly sacrifice. As I said, as I remember when it was allowed. Oh no, I apologize. It's not that. They said it's like he built an altar when the altars were forbidden. I apologize. So they were forbidden. To build the altar is one thing, but to bring a sacrifice, it's like that's the sin. Okay. So when he makes a vow, he built an altar, and when he fulfills the vow. Right, so it's like he brought the sacrifice upon the altar, meaning that do something forbidden, right? So meaning that slaughter the consecrated animal outside of the temple. So if an animal was consecrated, that doesn't matter. It's hard for him to walk. Doesn't matter. So he can depends how it was consecrated. So sometimes you can sell it and take the money, but sometimes you cannot sell it. You have to take that specific animal. Okay, so number 6. This sort prohibition is this severe prohibition is found in Vayikra 17 verses 1 through 5. Just as it is forbidden for a person to expand upon the Torah guidelines for divine service by building a personal altar, right, which is an additional private place for worship. It is likewise inappropriate for one to add additional additions to those of the Torah making personal vows. Okay. So let's try to understand. So just as it is forbidden for a person to expand upon the Torah guidelines for the divine service by building personal altar. So Torah said don't build personal altar, and he did it anyway. He built it, which is an additional private place of worship, meaning that Torah says clearly you're going to come. Hashem said you're going to come to the place which I choose, and you're going to serve there, bring all your sacrifices, right? And the person said, no, I'm going to do my personal sacrifice in my backyard, which is a problem. It is likewise inappropriate for one to add prohibitions to those of the Torah by making a personal vows. So meaning that Torah is, as our sages say, it's strict enough, so that don't need to add more stringencies, like unnecessary stringencies. Meaning what? That if the stringency would be necessary, so our great Rabbi, our great sages would add it like for everybody. Okay. Especially with this oath. Okay. For it would have been better if he had sought annulment of his vows. Okay. So like try to annul, go to the 3 people, right, to the court or one scholar, so that they could permit him, which he forbade. So meaning he forbade himself something that is permitted. So Torah says it is permitted, and he forbade him. Okay, so it's better, as they say, go and try to cancel it. However, this applies only to other vows that have only personal ramification. Okay, so only its personal ramification. So okay, meaning that he forbade something permissible to himself. But vows of consecration, commentary, this law applies to consecration of animal to be brought as an offering, right? So I mean in the Beis Hamikdash, right? And in opinion of the number of authorities, applied to vow of the gift to charity as well. So that's what we said earlier today. So it's consecration, meaning if person, I think even if he said thought that I should dedicate this goat or this sheep to the Beis Hamikdash, so maybe it's or if he said out loud for sure, right? And same is in tzedakah. So if he said out loud, right? So he must give it to charity. Of course, if the charity is not kosher or shaky, so you can give to somebody else. But anyway, you're not allowed to keep this money, and you're not allowed to cancel this this promise unless person promised, I don't know, he promised a lot of money, and then something happened, he lost everything. It was fire or something, he lost it. Okay. Okay. Just 1 second. So let me do the whole sentence. So we have continuation. However, this applies only to other vows that have only personal ramification, but vows of consecration. So right, as consecrated, meaning I'm not forbidding anything to myself. I promise to do something. A mitzvah to fulfill. Okay, so meaning these animals, to bring animals to the base of Mikdash or give tzedakah, according to some authorities, rather than to seek annulment of them. As it says in Tehillim 1:16-18, my vows to HaShem I will fulfill. So whatever we promise, we must fulfill. One should not seek annulment of those vows, meaning something for positive. So it's not against himself, but it's for betterment of the world, right, of the Jewish nation, unless it is a present situation that determined by halachic authority. So, 1 second, let me check that. Okay, so let me quickly see if you have any questions. Okay, so I mean those are more general, so we're going to go to this. Yeah, it's actually a good point. We had last parsha, we have all of these things about Nazir, right? So he made the vow, but it was for something positive, right? And actually Torah, on one hand, it is praising him, on one hand, it actually punishes him, but we're going to speak later. Okay, so we have time, let's do one more halacha, number 2. Likewise, one should distance himself from taking oaths. Okay. However, if he is violated this admonition and swore regarding any matter, he should not seek annulment. So whatever we say, you must do. Rather, he should keep his oath, even if it causes him distress. As the verse states in Tehillim 15:4, one who swears to his detriment without retracing. Okay. And following the verse is written in verse 5, he who does this shall not falter further, shall not falter forever. Right. One may not seek annulment of the oath unless it is present situation. Okay, so this oath is a little different, so let's read again, and we're going to see the commentary and a little commentary and explain. So, likewise, one should distance himself from taking oath, right? So again, one is against the object, and one is a prohibition to oneself object, and another is prohibition upon ourselves doing something. However, if he violated this admonition and swore regarding any matter, right, to do, he should not seek annulment. So, like after the fact, first of all, sages said don't do it. But if you did it, try to keep the vow, right? Rather, he should keep his oath, even if it's causing distress. So some people say that's not what I meant. I'm going to lose money. Okay, so you're going to lose money. So yeah, it's going to be hard. Who said that mitzvah should be easy? It's very interesting. As the verse states in Tehillim, one who can swear to his detriment without retracting. One who can swear to his detriment without retracting, meaning that you don't cancel. So you already did it, so go complete this. Maybe it should be a good lesson for you not to do it going further. And following the verse, it is written, he who does this shall not falter forever. So what does it mean? This verse lists the attributes of one who is assured the place in heaven. If one takes an oath, even of his own detriment, he should fulfill his oath and not to retract it. So, I mean, after the fact, he would be rewarded. So the harder the mitzvah is, the more it seems like we're losing, right, or suffering, the more it's going to be the reward for it, right? So reward is according to your investment. So the more you invest into mitzvah, your life, your strength, your everything, your essence, so the bigger is reward. So if everything is easy, so there is no reward. I mean, there is a reward, but not as much. One may not seek annulment for an oath unless it is present situation. Commentary. One may seek annulment of the oath if one may seek annulment if the oath is preventing him from performing of mitzvah. So whatever he did, he said, I'm going to volunteer in this place, and now he said, I cannot attend to the mitzvahs and this and that, like to the prayers and stuff like that. So, and I cannot learn Torah, and it's too much, and I volunteer, but they let them hire somebody and pay somebody money. Why should I do it? Okay. So we can stop here.